virtual more dollars, but I don't know, it's kind of complex. Kind of complex. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right. The real boy cheesy vids in the house. Okay, so why do we use money, people? The question is, why do we use money? Why do we use this thing called money? Why do we use, paper with a dead president on it? How can we use that? Well, the reason is this, right? And a better question is, what would life be like without money, right? How do you get the things that you want if there wasn't money, if there wasn't a medium of exchange, right? Well, you would have to barter, right? And you guys know what bartering is. I'm sure you've learned about it in world history, perhaps. But bartering is just trading for goods and services directly. There is no medium of exchange, right? If there was no money and I wanted coffee, maybe, right? I would go to Tim Hortons and I'd be like, hey, I want a large coffee, one cream, one sugar, and then I would have to hopefully find, hopefully I have something that they want, right? And then, maybe I'll trade them a shoe, right? Maybe I'd trade them, my cool new glasses. Maybe I'd trade them like a phone, right? Whatever, right? But obviously that there's a lot of, problems with that, right? The first problem is this. The first problem is the double coincidence of wants. In order for me to get my coffee, in order for me to get what I want, hopefully I have something that they want. And hopefully I have something that's equal value, right? I'm not trading a phone for a coffee. But that's what makes it very, very problematic, the barter system, right? Is that there is no money, right? We don't have different units of a medium of exchange to make trade super, super easy, right? If I want coffee, hopefully I have something that they want, right? And they value equal to the coffee that they're giving up, right? So obviously bartering is very, very problematic, right? Obviously back in the day, if you needed some chickens and you went to the farmer's market, right, and all you had was sheep, and that farmer that raised the chickens didn't want your sheep, you're not getting chickens, right? Obviously is very problematic. Or a more extreme example, right? A doctor might only accept certain goods, so if you break your arm, you might be out of luck, right? Number 2 says some goods cannot be split, right? Some goods just, inherently cannot be split, right? Like live animals, right? So again, if you wanted, or if you knew that one goat is equal to 5 chickens, right? That's just the value, right? Goats are maybe more valuable than chickens. Like, a goat is 5 times more valuable than a chicken. And you only wanted one chicken, and you have a goat, right? You're going to have to either give the person 1/5 of a goat for your one chicken, or you're going to have to buy more chicken than you actually want. You're going to have to buy 5 chickens, and you only want one, because that's going to be the easiest way. You either give away a goat or 1/5 of a goat. And then what do you do with the 4/5 of a goat? That doesn't last long. Obviously, I'm giving you guys like insane examples, but bartering is very, very difficult. It makes trading very, very difficult. So what makes trade easy is a medium exchange, right? Trade is whenever you're getting a good or service, right? You're buying a good or service. Trade or money makes it easy, right? Money makes, oh, that's $2. Here's $2. Thank you very much for that. A cup of coffee. So that's why we use money. We use money because it makes trading easier, and it's the alternate to bartering, right? Bartering obviously is not ideal. So, what is money? What is money? Money is anything that is generally accepted in the payment for goods and services, right? Money has to be accepted by all people, right? Because if some, say I go buy coffee, right, and the person that produces the coffee, accepts my money, they value that money, and then they take that money and they want to go buy resources or something else, right, and that person does not accept that money, then it doesn't work, right? Money has to be accepted by all. So in the U.S., right, it is called legal tender. Money is legal tender, right? It's the only form that can be accepted for goods and services, outside of bartering. Obviously, it's legal to barter, but you can't use any other money really than U.S. money, U.S. currency in the U.S. That's legal tender. So it says money is not the same as wealth or income. Wealth, people, is how much you value the things that you have. Wealth is how much you value the things that you have. So I like to ask my students this, right? How much would I have to pay you to never have the ability to use the internet anymore? Right? Some of you guys would be like, millions and millions of dollars, Mr. Moore. How much would I have to pay you to not have the ability to see? Right? Millions and millions of dollars, I'm sure, right? So you guys are all much more wealthier than you really think. I notice I'm blurring. Hopefully it goes away. And then income is like how much money you get over time. How much unit of money, right? Units of money do you get over a period of time. Okay, so money is not the same as wealth or income. All right, people, there's two types of money out there. There's two types. Money can either be two types. It either can be a commodity money or it can be something called a fiat money. Commodity money is money that has intrinsic value, right? You're using it as money. You're using it as, a medium of exchange, but it has value other than its use of money. It has intrinsic value, like intrinsically motivated from within. It has like inherent value. So examples of that is like gold, silver, cigarettes, cough drops, right? Like anything that has value other than its use of money. So obviously gold and silver is a great commodity money, because if it's not used as money, it's a precious metal. It's rare. It has value in itself just because it's rare. But it's used for jewelry, right? It's pretty. It's you can use gold and silver in a multitude of ways. Cigarettes sometimes can be used as money, in prison or in other places, I guess. And then I put cough drops on there when I was in, as you guys know, I was in the Army for a little bit. Am I lagging? People? I was in the Army for a little bit, but when I was in basic training, we used cough drops really as a medium of exchange, as money. Cough drops were not contraband. They were not illegal, right? But they basically taste like candy. If you guys ever had the Halls Breezers, so people would when we were allowed to, probably like every 2 to 3 weeks, we were allowed to go to like a pharmacy sort of thing, right? And people load up on cough drops, and you'd use those cough drops to basically trade for everything else that you need, right? The trade, so you don't have to do like fire guard watch and things like that. So why are we having so many issues today? Why are we having so many issues? I don't understand. We haven't had issues like at all the whole entire semester. I got mic problems. I'm lagging. It could be this though, people. My wife is she's teaching now here, right? You guys know she teaches elementary, and now they're all virtual. She's teaching from home today, so maybe that's it. I don't know. Or maybe you guys are just trying to get out of class. Mr. Moore, you're lagging too much. I can't learn. Get out of here. All right. Anyway, so commodity money again is money that is used as money, right? But it has value other than its use of money, right? Cough drops, obviously, like you eat them, right? Cigarettes, you smoke them. You're not supposed to. Rice, you can eat them, right? Gold and silver, it's jewelry, right? There's uses other than money. That's commodity money. Fiat money has no value aside from its use of money. It's only valuable because it's used as money, right? So like, credit cards, cash money, like anything like that, right? That is fiat money. Like the U.S. dollar bill has no value other than its use of money, right? A dollar bill, a U.S. dollar bill is not valuable, right? It's just a bunch of kind of expensive paper, but just a bunch of piece of paper, right? With no backing whatsoever, right? Our money is not backed by anything, right? That's the idea of fiat money. Fiat money has no value other than its use of money. Think about like it being outrageous, but if there was a zombie apocalypse, right? Would your fiat money, would your cash money, or would your debit card or your credit card be used for anything, right? Would it be valuable for anything? No, it wouldn't, right? No one would want to accept those things. All right. So yeah, paper money, coins, digital currency, anything that has zero value other than it's simply used as money. So the U.S. currency is a fiat money. The U.S. currency is not valuable other than its legal tender and it's used in our system as money, but it has no intrinsic value other than it's just simply used as money. All right. Man, yeah, it is cutting out. I don't know why it's cutting out. Let me check something real quick. It says I'm chilling. I don't know. Anyway. Back to it. We're almost done, people. We know a whole lot. And I told you guys I'm keeping it light today. All right. So there's two types of money. Again, there's fiat and commodity, right? I think it's pretty easy to understand. And then there's three functions of money, right? So money serves three functions. Money has three purposes, right? There's three reasons to why we use money. The first reason is a medium of exchange, which we've already talked about. it makes trade easier. It does not make us have to barter, right? Instead of I wanting what you have and you have to want what I have, everyone wants money. So money serves as that medium of exchange, right? I get the good I want and they get the good they want because I use money and they also use money that I give them to get the good that they want, right? Money, the biggest function of money is that it serves as a medium of exchange. It is like the middle, of the transaction, right? It's the medium of exchange. I don't know how else to describe that one. Number 2, a unit of account, right? Money gives us prices. Money gives us a yardstick to measure value, right? Since we have money, we can have prices. So when I go to the store and I know that something's $3 opposed to $2, right? The $3 good is more valuable than the $2 good, right? Money tells me that, or else I would just have to, assess it myself, right? Which one do I think is more valuable? The market identifies that. Prices tell us, what is more or less valuable. So money allows us to do that. Money gives us prices. So again, that other example, right? How do I know a goat is 5 times more valuable than a chicken? Well, if a goat's $50 and a chicken's $10, then I know, right? Otherwise, it's how much do I value it personally? And maybe that's valued differently, than somebody else. But money allows us to have prices. And then number 3 is a store of value. Money allows us to store the ability to buy things at a later date. Money allows us to store purchasing power, right, is the idea. So without money, right, you would not be able to store purchasing power, right? You can put money away, although inflation does reduce the power of that. You can put money away at a later date and then use that money to buy something, later on. Money allows you to save purchasing power. Obviously before there was money and there was only the bartering system, say for whatever reason you had a really good, farming season, right, and you had a whole bunch of corn, but there was no buyers of that corn, right? Now you can sell your corn, right, and have that money and buy it later. But there, right, you wouldn't be able to store your corn. You'd have to sell it all, get goats maybe, and then what do you do with your goats, right? Hopefully they last a long enough time that store your purchasing power, later. So money gives us 3 functions. It serves as the medium of exchange, it gives us prices, and allows us to buy things later on, which is a big idea. All right. And then next up, and we're almost done, it says, what backs the money supply? What backs the money supply? So since money is fiat here in the U.S., money has no value other than it's legally used as money, and it's efficient. It's a good use of money, but money has no value. It has no backing, right? There is no gold standard anymore. We used to have the gold standard. The amount of money printed would be equal to the amount of gold that we had, right? So if we printed more money, we'd have to have more gold, but now we don't have that. And the whole reason is one, it's tough to find gold, right? And we've expanded our money supply greatly, but we have something in the U.S. called fractional reserve banking, and it is a way for banks to make money, right? Because without fractional reserve banking, banks wouldn't be able to make money. So banks have to be able to take on deposits and lend out money without storing all the money on reserve, which is a big deal, and that's what you guys are going to see in the video after this. Hopefully, is money has no backing, and since money has no backing, banks have the capacity to basically increase the money supply via fractional reserve banking, which is pretty crazy. Mr. Moore, I don't know what you're talking about. You will see in the video shortly, if internet works. So what does make our money effective, even though it has no inherent value, right? So money has to at least serve these purposes, right? Or have these characteristics to carry out the 3 functions of money, right? Money, again, has to be generally accepted. It has to be accepted by all. People have to have confidence, right? I'm going to sell you this mug for $3 because I know if I get this $3, I can take this $3, go to anywhere else I need to get something else that I value, for $3. Money has to be generally accepted. It has to be, legal tender. Money has to be scarce, right? You can't be able to, replicate or reproduce money, or else, the money will lose its value, right? If you could just, print off money at your home and use that, money would not have any value, right? Counterfeiting would obviously destroy the value of money. So money has to be scarce, right? It's hard to get money, right? You have to work a job generally to get money. So that's what gives it, value, because it doesn't have any intrinsic value, but that's what gives it value, is it is still scarce. And then number three, a few things. It has to be portable, right? Money has to be easy to carry on person in your wallet or purse, or digitally, right? On a debit card or on your phone. It has to be divisible, right? Because if something's $5, we can't have only $10 bills, right? We have to have many denominations. And then it has to be durable, right? Like hard money, like real money, like cash and coins, currency, has to be durable, right? It can't, if it rains outside, your cash can't, like the ink can't run. If you put your money through the wash, right, it's still fine. Money has to be, durable, a little bit at least, right? So yeah, obviously money has evolved over time, people. Money used to be, earliest forms of money, I believe, were like seashells, right? And then we use rice, and then we use salt. That's where the word salary comes from. Roman soldiers were paid in salt. And then we found, precious metals like gold and silver. And then we just use coins instead of like giving shavings of like metal and off the metal, right? We just have coins, and we have a certain amount of shavings that were melted and as coins. And then obviously it became really, really difficult to find silver and gold and things like that. So we used to take out gold and silver from our coins, right, and put copper and other less precious metals into our currency. And then eventually, right, to make it easier, instead of carrying like a huge waistband of coins, right, we have cash. And I believe the Chinese invented cash. And now what is money, right? Now we don't even use cash any longer, right? Some countries I would imagine are probably going to do away with cash in the near future, right? Now money is all virtual. It's all a number in your bank account, essentially, right? So especially now, right, where most people are probably making online transactions. So, a couple things, right? Purchasing power of money is the amount of goods and services a unit of money can buy, right? So we know that inflation decreases purchasing power. Inflation decreases your ability to buy things, because when inflation occurs, when prices go up, it requires more and more units of money to buy the same amount of things. That's the idea. So inflation always decreases purchasing power in regards to money. And then rapid inflation, hyperinflation, remember we talked about inflation in overdrive, where inflation's noticeable, where prices are going up every single hour, every single day. If there's hyperinflation, that's obviously going to decrease the acceptability, the number one characteristic of money, right? People are going to be less, willing. They're going to be more reluctant to accept money if they know that money is increasingly losing value, right? So hyperinflation will decrease acceptability. All right. The last thing we need to talk about is classifying money. Classifying money, all right? So we're going to use this word a lot going forward here. It's called liquid or liquidity, and that basically is how easy is it to make a transaction? How easy is it to convert whatever you're talking about, whichever asset you're talking about, convert that into cash and be able to buy something, right? So is a house liquid, right? Or better yet, is a house or a car more liquid, right? Which one's more liquid, a house or a car? I would say a car is more liquid. It's easier to make a transaction with a car than a house, because a car you can sell very easily, right? You can just take it to a dealership and trade it in, right? Or if you list it online, right, it generally takes maybe a week or two to sell that, whereas a house takes a lot longer to sell, which takes a lot longer to get cash, which takes a lot longer to be able to make a transaction with your house, right? So all assets have different levels of liquidity. So which one's more liquid? Money in your checking account or money in your savings account, right? Money in your checking account is more liquid, because money in your checking account is linked to your debit card. So when you swipe your debit card, you can make a transaction, right? Money in your checking account is very, very liquid, right? Money in your savings account isn't that liquid. I mean, it's pretty liquid, relative to the other assets, but money in your savings account, you have to transfer it first to your checking account, which might take some time. Or you have to go to your ATM first, withdraw cash, and then you can make a transaction. That's the idea of liquidity. How easy is it for you to convert whatever you're talking about, whatever asset, into cash, or the ability to make a transaction? Okay, so we're going to have some questions about that on your problem set. So in terms of how the Federal Reserve, we haven't talked a lot about the Federal Reserve yet, but the central bank of the U.S., right, those that really manage the money in circulation in the U.S. and those that can use money to conduct monetary policy, the Federal Reserve, They're in charge of steering the in the U.S. the largest economy in the world, right? They are going to classify money based on liquidity, right? So there's going to be two classifications. There used to be three, and they've done away with it. Now there's two. There's two classifications of money. So money takes on many different forms, and we're going to classify money to get a count of the money supply. So M1 money is money that is of the highest liquidity, right? Is money that generally you can make a transaction immediately, right? So if the Federal Reserve wants to get an indication on how much money is in circulation, right, they're going to look at M1 money, right? Because M1 money is the most liquid form of money. Uh-oh, did I lose you guys? Oh my gosh, what is going on today? Are you still here? Are you still here? What the heck is going on? Oh no! What is going on, dude? What is going on? I'm still here? Okay, good. I'm gonna finish this up. This is annoying. I'm gonna have to figure some things out here. I can't see my stream over here, but we have one last slide. We have one last slide. We're gonna finish this up. All right. All right. So, the highest form of money, right? The most liquid form of money is obviously currency, right? Cash and coins, right? Is obviously very, very liquid money. You can take cash and coins and make a transaction, immediately with that. So, any sort of cash and coins. So that's going to look like, cash and coins privately, right? Whatever people are holding privately, cash and coins, or at the bank, or what banks have in terms of cash and coin at maybe the central bank, right? Just cash and coins is called the monetary base, and that is obviously the most liquid form of money. Number two is money in your checking account. Money in your checking account obviously is very, very liquid, right? Because money in your checking account is linked to your debit card, or you can write a check, right? You can either pull out your checkbook, write a check, or swipe your debit card, and you can make a transaction very, very quickly, right? So money in your checking account, sometimes called demand deposits, and you guys are going to see that word again, demand deposits, is basically cash and coin, right? All two of these, both these things, you can make a transaction very, very quickly. Number three is called a traveler's check, which most people don't use traveler's checks anymore because banks are so international, right? Like I can take my debit card and I can go to Europe and I can make a transaction, right? Back in the day, it wasn't the case, right? In order to travel, right, most people, to travel safely rather, they would go to their bank, say, hey, I need $2,000 because I'm going on a trip, and they would get a check, so they don't have to carry $2,000 in cash. So they get a check, and then they would take that check and they would cash that out, once they arrived to their destination, right? So obviously, that's pretty liquid as well. All right. Sorry, people. I need to check if you're still here. Okay. This is like the worst day ever. Besides the first day of class, you guys remember the first day of class? I couldn't even get on, but this is close to it. All right. M2 is called near monies, and M2 is money that is pretty liquid. It's pretty liquid, right? It's not as liquid as M1 money, but it's money that generally you can make a transaction pretty quickly. All right. So, what else is M2? It's money in your savings account, right? Money in your savings account, because again, all you have to do is transfer it to your checking account to make a transaction, or withdraw it from an ATM. It's pretty liquid. Number two is called a time deposit, a CD, which really isn't that liquid, right? Generally, a CD is when you put money away in a bank at a very, very low interest rate, but you can't touch it, right? You can't touch it, right? Maybe like 1% to 2% interest. And you can't touch it for a period of time, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then once you can, right? Once the deposit almost matures, if you will, right? Then you can pull that money out and make a transaction, right? Sometimes you can withdraw from a CD whenever, right? But there's a penalty if you do so. So it's liquid, but it's not, that liquid. And then number three is called a money market fund. And basically, these are just mutual funds that are invested into commodities, right? Like gold, silver, like commercial paper, things that don't really lose much value, right? Is the best description of a money market fund, a mutual fund that is invested in very commodity type assets. So I forgot one key thing here, and we'll finish it up. M2 is all of this plus M1, right? M2 is just a more broad range of the classification of money, right? So you have M1, everything that's in M1, and then M2 is all three of these plus M1. So you're going to see questions like this. If someone takes money out of their savings account and deposits in their checking account, what happens to M1 money? Well, M1 money would increase, right? Because we have more money in checking accounts, and that money wasn't there previously. But if people take money out of their savings account and puts it into their checking account, what would happen to the M2 measure of money supply? Well, that would stay the same, because M2 includes M1, right? We moved money from here to here, but M2 does include this as well, so it would not change. Again, sometimes you see questions like that. Moving around money from here to there, just M2 would not change because M2 is counting M1. If we move money from M2 to M1, though, M1 would increase. Or if you move money from M1 to M2, M1 would decrease. But M2 is M1 plus these three as well. All right, so we're going to stop right there, especially with all these technological